Got on the bench today a Alvarez K.Yairi from 1973, so going on 53 years old. It's in for a Spanish neck reset. The action is a bit too high, as these sometimes have or often have. It's a big classical type guitar. Look at this bridge, really wide bridge, and started pulling the frets here. It has a interesting headstock. This is not a carved headstock, it's a resin ink overlay imprint sort of thing here. Yeah, cool guitar. Cedar top and Brazilian rosewood back inside, Brazilian rosewood bridge, ebony fretboard. I thought that this was a dyed fretboard. There's some spots here that are probably dyed, but it's still an ebony board, and it's gonna get new tuners as well. Let's get this done. So I've pulled out all of the frets and I'm analyzing this board. I have a couple of shims here to simulate the string height at the nut and at the 12th fret, and the straight edge is right on top of it to simulate the bottom of the string. On the bass side, I have about 1 millimeter of projection here at the saddle, and it's too low. I want something like 2 or 2.5 at least. Well, 2 at the lowest, 2.5 at the highest. I don't want any higher than that really, because a very high saddle puts a lot of torque or a lot of pressure in the front of the bridge and it might crack it. So, and on the treble side, I'm actually negative here. So if you look at the projection of the string, it's hitting the top of the bridge there. It's about 0.5 millimeter too low. So I'm gonna have to remove between 1.5 or excuse me, 2.5 and 3 millimeters from the treble side here to bring that saddle up to between 2 and 2.5 millimeters here. So yeah, let's get this going. All right, so upon further inspection, I am going to try a little bit of a different approach. So first of all, this neck joint is very likely a dovetail with a tenon that goes all the way through. I'm gonna post or show you a picture of it now. I'm not really familiar with that joint. I'm not even sure that there is a dovetail here or how to get all of this loose, so I'm not going to attempt a traditional neck reset in the fear of, you know, digging a hole that I can't get myself out of. The other problem is to get the right neck angle on this guitar just by removing fretboard material. I'm going to have to remove about 3 millimeters here. It's just too much. It's half the thickness of the fretboard. The neck will end up too thin. It's just not feasible. So what I'm going to do is try a hybrid approach. So I'm going to fret these with higher frets, higher than usual, and I will leave them at the actual height here and taper down. So that will take some of the height and the angle off. And I'm going to remove fretboard material as well, though not as much as before. So there will still be a taper here. The frets will be lower at about 39 thousandths up here, which is still pretty good height, and they'll be serviceable for the future. And they will be about 55 up here, which is, it's pretty high for most standards, but I don't see any other way to fix this. I could lower the bridge as well. There is meat over here, so I'm still considering just doing a regular refret with some taper in here and lowering the saddle slot here and doing all three. So high frets, taper in the fretboard, and adjusting the nut slot there. I think that should be the best way to go, and an approach where I won't have to do too much of any of them. I won't end up with a very low bridge or a very low fretboard up here, or too high of frets in this area. So I started playing this fingerboard. I made a new shim here for the 0 fret position, and I used my a shim I already have, but I added some tape to the bottom of it to add some height, since the new frets are higher. And here's the treble, which was the troublesome part, and I already started playing it, and you see the projection here. I'm starting to gain some height here. It's hard to focus, but there is about 1 millimeter now. When before I was at negative half a millimeter. So making progress here, and this is gonna be great. Just about ready to wrap up the fingerboard here, and you see my projection is just under 2.5 millimeters, so I'm pretty happy with this. And I didn't have to remove that much of the fingerboard, so still have some left there. Pretty great. You see this fingerboard here has been dyed, and there's some streaks here, which is totally common with ebony. I'm gonna call the client and hear if he wants this to be re-dyed. I certainly don't mind. The streaks is just a cosmetic thing, and getting ready to refret this one. Here's the board dyed, and the slots are recut. It's resurfaced. You can still see some of the coloration here. The client just came over. I talked to him. I asked him if he wanted me to re-dye this and get it jet black, and he was totally fine with this. I think it gives it some character. It's not a big deal, and it's better than how it was before. It's purely cosmetic anyway. So remove the tuners. He wants them replaced. Got the new ones test fitted there, and here are the frets. So this is ready to be refretted. Here's another shot of that sort of crazy tenon through dovetail joint. The block is cut, and there's all kinds of things going on there. Here it is, refretted. Just have to let the glue dry now. Fix the little crack that was here on the side. Put some glue in there. And the next step is to reattach or install the new tuners and clip the fret ends. That's gonna have to wait until tomorrow. Bevel, set it up. Got the machine heads installed. Looks great. Made a new saddle, which is fitting just perfect. Nice and snug. Pick up the guitar by pulling it. So getting closer to finishing this one now. Okay, so fret work is about halfway through. I have to crown and polish these frets, and you see just how much material I've taken out from these first frets here. I finished leveling. I'm happy with it. I'm still at about 40. I think I measured 41 thousandths. Yeah, 44, 45. So I didn't have to take as much as I thought, which is great. There are a lot of frets left to be serviced in the future, and I'm gonna start crowning now. Once I'm done leveling the frets and polishing them, they're all done now. There's always a little, you can see there's a tiny little corner here, and it becomes sharp. So I come in here and I round that very gently. Doesn't need much, but it is a little barb. And then I flip my file because this side here is round, this side is flush. That's when I attack that first little corner, and then I flip it. Now this is a little round, and it helps to get off the fretboard and just get to the little side there, and it's nice. Now do it again here, flipping. This is the flat side, just kiss that. Same thing on the other side. Try not to hurt the fingerboard as well, and then flip it, round it, and it's nice now. Here is the final result with the fret markers. All strung up. Very good string height. It's at 3 1/4 or 3 3/4 on the bass, and at 3 on the treble. Huge improvement, and great guitar. Another one wrapped up.